Coming as I do from a rainforest on Vancouver Island, the idea of dying from thirst was not something that had ever occurred to me. But I now regretted not having at least a quart of water with me. I had discovered many cruises of 6 and 7 days or more to the Mexican Riviera. Most of these included the ports of Mazatlan and Puerto Vallarta, as well as Cabo San Lucas, with its stunning and scenic rock arch at the tip of the Baja Peninsula. As I told the editor later, I had failed to pack any short-sleeved shirts or similar attire. And I never wear dress shorts either. You mean you weren't ready to enter the knobbly knees contest? So I was not prepared for just how hot it was. But I do like to walk, and was assured by a taxi driver that I could easily make it on foot, since it was only 30 minutes each way to a nearby shopping mall. He must have been an Olympian speedwalker, as I had now reached the half-hour point, scanning the horizon with no such oasis in sight. Extremely dehydrated, I tried to flag down a taxi driver, but he zoomed right past me. I think it was the same guy who'd sent me wandering aimlessly into the desert. I was shivering now, even though it was extremely hot. This can't be good. I didn't think I would make it and imagined dying out there next to a cactus with buzzards circling overhead. It's probably heat stroke, I said to myself. This is definitely a problem. You'd better sit down for a while. Somehow, I found enough shade to recover, and finally lurched into the parking lot. Some people in the shopping mall saw me tottering across the melting asphalt, and helped me to a food court inside, fetching me numerous bottles of water. I guzzled almost a gallon of it, but was still thirsty. I never thought it humanly possible to drink that much water and still need more. My saviors spoke good English and stayed with me until I recovered. One of them helped me find what I needed in the mall, and he directed me to a bus stop outside. The editor thinks I should have returned to my ship in the comfort of an air-conditioned taxi, but I'm a big fan of chicken buses, as you will see. This one was a bit of a rattle-trap, but it still gave me the opportunity to chat with the locals and take a more interesting route back to town. Besides, and here's the important thing, it cost me only $1. We sailed 195 nautical miles due east from Cabo, across the Sea of Cortez, to Mazatlan, on the Mexican mainland. And it was already extremely hot as I wandered through an excellent market, frequently sipping a big jug of water. The Malecon Promenade beckoned with a potential 5¼ mile stroll along the Pacific Ocean, as did the hilltop El Ferro Lighthouse, topping out at 515 feet as one of the highest lighthouses in the world. I suppose I could have taken a ride in one of Mazatlan's iconic golf cart taxis, known as a pulmonia, translation, pneumonia, because that's supposedly what you might get from the ocean breezes. Instead, I returned to my ship, happy to have stayed hydrated after another day in the sun. Our next destination was Puerto Vallarta. "This is the captain speaking," we heard on the loudspeakers. "It is important we leave as soon as possible." Puerto Vallarta was my #1 goal at the time, as I had considered possibly moving there to escape my rainy Vancouver Island winters for a couple of years. I liked the idea of learning Spanish and enjoying some new experiences. It would also give me a break from the editor. "People a bit more famous than you have lived there in the past," he smirked. Charmed by the place after filming his movie Night of the Iguana in 1962, Richard Burton bought his future wife, Elizabeth Taylor, a Puerto Vallarta mansion, which is now the Casa Kimberly Hotel. You can stay there quite reasonably these days, said the editor. But I can't quite imagine you soaking in Elizabeth Taylor's pink marble heart-shaped bathtub. A fellow passenger named Eduardo offered to show me a more reasonable condo rental instead. But I knew Puerto Vallarta wasn't to be a domicile for me almost the moment I went ashore. I had been full of optimism, but the cruise terminal, consisting of a bunch of tents, was so stiflingly hot that I almost turned around to go back onto the ship. Eduardo and I walked through one of the tents to observe a confectionery merchant mopping his brow and eyeing us with imploring resignation.
Buenos días, señor. Belle, stop it!
A feeble but angry cat was clawing at his feet, and a motionless dog lay on the floor, showing little interest, even in panting. I could tell they had zero interest in selling any chocolate bars, which were literally bending in the heat. Not to worry, mate, I said. Guess I'll come back when it's cooler. There was no chance of that, of course. It would only get hotter before we had to return to the ship, by which time all three of them would be embalmed in a sea of melted chocolate. Sweating profusely, Eduardo and I darted into a nearby shopping mall. He could tell that I was losing all my previous enthusiasm about looking at condos myself. At least the mall was air-conditioned. I noticed a whole bunch more cruisers standing inside the doorways of the shopping mall, waiting for cabs to take them back to the ship. We were all back on board at least 2 hours before our scheduled departure. This is the captain speaking. Please advise if anyone has to go back ashore, otherwise we will be departing in 30 minutes. The crew, we discovered later, wanted to put some distance between us and what became the most powerful hurricane ever recorded on Earth. With sustained winds of 215 miles per hour and gusts up to 250, Hurricane Patricia could have been raised from a maximum Category 5 to an unprecedented Category 7. Thousands of tourists were evacuated, and 500 flights were cancelled.
Protégenos de esta tormenta. Danos fuerza y un refugio.
It was definitely a bad hair day for Mexicans. Luckily, it weakened to Category 4 before it made landfall in a sparsely populated area about 90 miles to the south, and no damage was recorded in Puerto Vallarta itself. By then, we were well to the north on the Norwegian Jewel, experiencing following seas. Once in a while, I felt the ship surging forward. Thanks to our captain, we had outrun the storm. People unfamiliar with cruising have told me they wouldn't consider sailing anywhere in hurricane season, to which I would state the obvious. Ships move. Unlike resorts fixed in the path of the hurricanes, ships have engines and can move out of the way.